Good morning. Welcome to Enlightened Heart Soul Connection. I'm Naoma. This is your message for today, Divine Masculine. As I was on my way to dinner last night, I opened up Amazon Music so I could play some music in the car ride. Gosh, excuse me. I wanted to listen to some music on the car ride, and the first song that came up was Hurt by Johnny Cash. Now, we all know that this was originally a Nine Inch Nails song, or maybe we don't all know, but this was originally a Nine Inch Nails song, but the Johnny Cash version of this song is so haunting that you almost can't help but listen to the words, and as the words were coming through, I was starting to get some kind of a download, I guess, is what I would call it. So the next 4 songs that came after that, I was being invited to put a message out there for the Divine Masculine. Someone in this collective is in crisis and awakening at the same time. 5 songs that came together. Hurt by Johnny Cash, we talked about that. Rattlesnake by Live. Cumbersome by 7 Mary 3. Break Stuff by Limp Bizkit. And Epiphany by Stained. These 5 songs came together like soul fragments trying to speak through the static. They're not just music, they're medicine. Guys, if these tracks have been showing up for you, any of these songs, anytime you open your playlists, if they're coming up, Spirit's trying to reach you. Through the ache, the fire, the shame, the rage, and the surrender, this is your reckoning. You're not breaking down, you're breaking through. Let the music speak to you and let yourself feel. There's going to be a playlist at some point today, and I'll put this video into that playlist. From the Johnny Cash song Hurt. The key lyric that grabbed my attention: I hurt myself today to see if I still feel. I focus on the pain, the only thing that's real. This is where the masculine feels so detached from himself that even pain becomes a way to feel alive. Your attention is being called to your emotional suppression. Isn't that so masculine? Boy, don't cry, or I'm going to give you a reason to cry. Or how about this? Boys don't cry at all. This lyric, it represents the moment that the soul begins to stir awake from the numbness. It's not weakness. You can feel it. You can cry. You can reflect on those lyrics. And don't be ashamed because you're at the threshold of your awakening. It's your soul whispering, I'm still here. So the card that I'm looking at here is the Medallion. This is the Wild Unknown Archetype by Kim Krantz. I like this deck to look at the archetypes of our pain and suffering. So the medallion symbolizes sacred inheritance, legacy, and initiation into soul truth. Something that's been passed down spiritually, often through bloodline or soul contract. The key line from the song that matches up with this card is, everyone I know goes away in the end. There's a suggestion here that the pain that you've endured, it's not personal, it's ancestral. You're carrying the grief of the generations that came before you. But you also inherited something deeper, the strength to transmute it. Taking your pain, your grief, your solace, and turning it into something productive. So hurt becomes the theme song for the wounded healer initiate. The one who bears the weight, not to be crushed, but to transform it into medicine for the collective. Interesting. This pain is not your punishment, guys. It's your portal. You've been marked, not for suffering, but for sacred purpose. We've walked through the fire. This burning ring of fire. Down, down, down. We've walked through it. The medallion's your seal. You were chosen to remember and release what others could not. Transmuting your pain means looking at the conditions that made you think that you needed to be in pain and suffering. The pre-programmed conditions, the things that your mom and dad told you that were to make you a man. Boys don't cry. You have to be tough. You always have to be the strong one. You have to carry the burden of your family. Things like this. It's not yours to carry alone. Burn, 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 this burning ring of fire. Alright, so the next song that came out here was Rattlesnake by the band Live. This is the spiritual fire. This is using your rage as a catalyst for your awakening. This is awakening through the chaos, and out of chaos comes order. Let the movement in your body, how it keeps you alive, and makes me want to know, did you ever see the red light? It's the serpent energy rising, the kundalini, the anger, the urgency to move out of stagnation. That red light's a metaphor for both warning and activation. Spirits breaking through apathy and igniting inner transformation. That fire in your body is the spirit in your bones. Let it rise. Let that snake wake you up. And the card that I'm looking at is the dead end. For the song Rattlesnake. This is spirit doubling down on the urgency of this song's energy. Okay, so the dead end card in archetypal language means a blocked path meant to force redirection. So you haven't really reached a dead end, you just missed a turn somewhere. This is a collapse of an illusion. And as I'm looking at this card, I'm seeing a hand in the darkness. And I'm seeing all these threads woven together. And actually there's a theme here because there's a hand in the Medallion card as well. There's a hand reaching through this. Oh, what a wicked web we weave. Whoa. Oh, what a wicked web we weave. We're going to look at that in a minute. I think what this is talking about here is perceived stagnation, where we think we're stuck, but we're not really stuck. We're not really stuck. Perception, that's us. You know, our brains did that. So the collapse of illusion. Oh, right. That's what I was talking about. Collapse of illusion. The illusion, we created ourselves. So there's a moment of pressure that births breakthrough. Like I said, out of chaos comes order. The pressure that makes a diamond. That's the pressure that you're feeling now. The dead end card often is linked to an ego death and an initiatory crisis. And the lyric that it ties into for this song, the rattlesnake. Did you ever see the red light? A red light's not just a warning, it's a stop sign. You're not supposed to go further that way. The rage, the discomfort, the serpent stirring, there are signs that the path you're on has expired and it's time to go a different direction. The divine masculine in this collective is facing, maybe you are faking, a spiritual choking point. The mask no longer fits. The compromise is no longer sustainable. Your soil. What is wrong with my words today? Also, probably I can't read my own handwriting, but the soul is coiling like a rattlesnake, ready to strike back at your false identity. And I'm thinking about the Venom card. A little bit of the poison becomes the medicine. That serpent, the Kundalini rising, you're going to get bit. You're going to get bit, and that's what's going to wake you up to your surroundings, to what you've actually been doing to yourself. You're not trapped, you're being redirected. The dead end is sacred. It's where the old you dies and the true you begins. Wake up. Let the serpent lead you through the collapse. Don't resist the ending. It's the beginning that you prayed for. All right. Oh, what a wicked web we've woven. Oh, what a wicked web we weave. Okay. So this is the energy spiraling through both the dead end and the rattlesnake. It's the moment when the divine masculine must face the web of his own making. Constructed, from survival mechanisms, false strength, silence as a shield, and generational pain that's left unspoken. This web is not your prison, it's your pattern. And what can be woven can be unraveled. It's not punishment, it's intervention. When the rattlesnake shakes its tail, that's a warning. Wake up, pay attention to your surroundings. So this dead end card, it's not a verdict, it's your mirror. And the mirror says stop, look, and go deeper. What once poisoned you will now be your medicine. This isn't just healing, it's initiation through transmutation. The venom from a rattlesnake is only lethal if it's ignored. And you'll only get bit if you ignore the warning signs, the rattle. In the same way, anger, trauma, grief, rage, and shame have all been misdiagnosed as toxic. But you're being shown they're not curses. It's concentrated power waiting to be transmuted. Let the movement in your body keep me alive. That moment, like Kundalini or rage, it's spiritual venom rising. Now it's time to alchemize it. It's time to become productive. 5:55 on the clock. You were bitten, but you didn't die. You metabolized the poison. You survived what should have taken you out. That venom's in your blood now. It's not to kill you, but to heal you. You've become immune to once broke you. Now you're the antidote for others. Welcome. So, the wounded divine masculine, this is what you become when you finally face the serpent, not with fear, but with reverence. And that 5:55 on the clock, that's the sacred shift. Your transformation's already underway. Your old timeline, it's collapsing rapidly, and you're stepping into radical freedom. It's a breakthrough disguised as destruction, so let it fall. Let the venom rise, let the serpent lead, and the portal's now open. Walk through. 555. The next song that came out was Cumbersome by 7 Mary 3, and the theme of this song is a masculine identity crisis. It's the burden of being misunderstood. I have become cumbersome to this world. I have become cumbersome to my girl. This lyric holds the emotional weight of trying to be what everyone needs and feeling like you're failing at all of it. The masculine's burdened not by others' expectations, but by the inner belief that he's never enough. You're being invited to shed the false you. Take the mask off. Stop trying to be what your parents tried to create, what society wanted to create. Quit trying to be that. You're not a burden. You're a soul in reclamation. The card that comes out for this is the box. This is spirit showing the architecture of the false self. A caged king, a wounded protector, a man too big for the box that he's been told to shrink into. This card represents restriction, conditioning, containment, inherited roles that no longer align, the desire for approval that becomes spiritual claustrophobia, the pain of feeling too much in a world that prefers you to be quiet, compliant, and small. I have become cumbersome to this world. All right, so these are the words of a man who had been trying so hard to fit in that he's forgotten how to feel. I want to start crying. You've been emotionally rationing yourself just to stay inside of a box that's killing your spirit. You were never meant to fit. You were meant to break the mold. This box is not your home. It's your chrysalis. The pressure, the tightness, the suffocation, these are not punishments. They're labor pains, and that sounds weird to say when I'm talking to a masculine, but you're too expansive for the roles that you've inherited. You're too sacred to remain compressed. When you feel cumbersome, it's not because you're too much. It's because you've outgrown the space that you were told to shrink into. And we left that sort of melodic, eerie, like esoteric music, and we moved into Break Stuff by Limp Bizkit. Bro. Unfiltered rage, emotional explosion, a primal purging. It's just one of those days when you don't want to wake up. Everything's fucked and everybody sucks. The honesty of that lyric, it breaks open the dam. It's messy, raw, and uncensored. Spirit allows the shadow to speak. Anger here is not punished, it's processed. This is you saying no more pretending. This is who I am. Get the fuck over it. Let's break it. Break it open, not apart. Rage can be alchemy. That's why I often say sacred anger. Because that in and of itself is transmutation. Take the energy of those feelings and turn it into something productive, even if you have to go to a rage room and break shit. The card that's coming out here is the comic. Sacred irony. The comic paired with the song Break Stuff is not mockery at all. It's sacred absurdity. It's the mask falling off and the ego cracking. Now the truth comes bursting out sideways. It's telling your truth through the chaos. Holy irreverence. The fool who exposes what the king won't admit. The emperor has no clothes. The Emperor has no clothes. This is the sacred role of someone who isn't afraid to break the script. The sacred rebel. It's just oh God, everything's fucked. This line, it's just one of those days when you don't want to wake up. This line is outrageously honest, and it makes people laugh, not because it's silly, but because it's true. The comic gives you permission to say what you feel, but you've been too ashamed or conditioned to express. But here's the secret, right? That rage, the breakdown, it's part of your medicine. The comic breaks the container because no one else dares to, and that rage becomes revelation. You don't have to perform anymore. You don't have to hold it all in. Let it break. Let it be messy. Let it be absurd. The comic knows the way out. It's through the punchline. And your anger's not a villain. Oh, I have one person that I'm thinking about, and I really hope that this message finds him. Your anger's not a villain. Oh, it's not the villain. It's the jester cracking the crown. So let it speak. Let it disrupt. Let it free you. I'm not glamorizing violence or unchecked anger. In fact, I had a lot of unchecked anger myself, and that anger became my medicine. I have most definitely been backed into the corner of my emotions where I felt like I couldn't get out, and I've thrown things on many occasions. I've broken staplers. I've broken cell phones. Most recently, when being told that my emotions were not valid and that they carried no relevance to the situation. In an explosive moment of, you don't get to say that my feelings are not valid, I've through a metal pipe, and as it came out of my hand doing 70 miles an hour, it hit the wall safe in my bedroom and exploded into every component that it contained, and it took me weeks to find the mouthpiece. And I'm not glamorizing this at all. But what I am doing is validating the feeling beneath your fury. You're angry, and there's a reason, and I want you to bring that truth to the surface. When the masculine represses for too long, the comic, and I'm still looking at that card, it comes to shatter the dam. And that line, the Emperor has no clothes, this is a revelation. This is where break stuff meets the comic, and it meets the box and the dead end and the venom, and it's all converging into one flash of brutal clarity. The false masculines being exposed, not to shame you, but to free you. The divine masculine has performed strength, worn armor. You've silenced your own cries to hold space for others. And now your mask is melting and your rage is erupting. The comic enters and dares you to say the thing that no one will admit, that this performance is killing you. So the song breaks stuff. It's not a tantrum, it's a soul quake. The comic's the one who laughs, not because it's funny, but because truth is finally too naked to deny. When the emperor has no clothes, he finally sees his own skin. When his throne crumbles, the man under the mask is revealed. No less divine, but more. You're more real now. You're more divine. There's less of the devil cloaking you. The last song. The last song that came up during this session, and I was hardcore meditating through it, was Epiphany by Shinedown. No, Stained. And I really did close my eyes. I allowed Adam to continue to drive. I closed my eyes and I got into this song like I was meditating through this song. This quiet surrender, emotional vulnerability, and truth without answers. And I know nothing at all, and I can't stop the pain. This lyric captures the moment that the masculine stops fighting, stops fixing, and just sits with the pain. It's not defeat, it's grace. This is where your heart softens and the ego dissolves and really, really, really true healing can begin. Surrender is not weakness, but it's where your rebuilding happens. The Village comes out for this song, Epiphany. There's something here about your foundations, what created you. I'm looking at a mountain and there's like a fire burning behind it and the mountain's silhouetted, and there's something about burning down the foundations that created you so that way the real you can be exposed. So the Village card represents the structures that shaped you: family, society, religion, community, safety, but also limitation. Beliefs that were inherited before you had the chance to choose them. A home that becomes too small for your evolving soul. This fits in the song lyric. I'm nothing more than a little boy inside. Oh, I know nothing of your kind, and I won't reveal your evil mind. This is the moment where you realize that the version of you that they built is not the truth of who you are. You're powerful. This mountain that I'm looking at, it's the identity built from old foundations. It's a father wound, some kind of patriarchy performance. I don't understand, but Spirit has been leading me through the process of exposing and revealing performative spirituality, because I fucking hate it. Don't get on your pulpit and talk a bunch of shit that you're not prepared to walk yourself. Love and light becomes toxic when it's not backed up with truth. The fire that I'm looking at is purification. It's the tower moment, burning down the false constructs. The silhouette is what remains when the fire reveals your true form. While I was looking up the meaning behind this card, I saw 919 on the clock. And it's a numerological echo, right? 9 is completion, wisdom, and spiritual mastery. 1 is your identity. It's also rebirth and divine will. And then again with the 9, it's closing karmic cycles. So what you were taught is ending, and who you are is becoming eternal. Let it burn. Burn, 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 this burning ring of fire. I'll have to add that song to the playlist because it's been a theme through this reading. Your soul's not a blueprint of your upbringing, okay? It's the wildfire of your becoming. Let the village fall and let the stories burn. You're not the house that they built. You're the voice in the ashes whispering, I remember who I am now. You're the phoenix rising. You're the phoenix rising. I think we've reached the spiritual ignition point. Masculine, you've walked through every layer of this reading. The pain and shame from hurt, the venom of survival from rattlesnake, the cage of identity with cumbersome, the eruption of truth with break stuff, and then the haunted reflection of the song Epiphany. You don't just walk away from the village, you set it on fire. Not in rage, but in resurrection. Because the phoenix can't rise until the old world burns. You're not lost, baby. You're molten. And from the ashes of the village, you're remembering your flame. So burn it down and rise anew. Let's pull a card from the Shaman's Dream Oracle, just one. We'll get a piece of, I don't know, wisdom, advice, something. Uno momento, 1:15 on the clock. Card is actually Stars in the Sky, and it says limitless possibility. And just a quick peek, it's card number 51. And at the bottom of the deck is Winter's Dream, gestation period. So this kind of takes me back. This takes me to that liminal space, that gestation period, the waiting, the sacred pause from yesterday's reading. So yesterday in the community section, I posted the reading yesterday called The Sacred Pause in the In-Between. And the village came out in today's reading. So that's confirmation for me that we're doing the right thing by talking about this today. In closing, the fire's not the end. It's the beginning of the void, and the void is full of stars. There's no ceiling. The version of you that rises from the village's ashes was never, has never existed before. The fire cleared the field, and the comic broke the mask. The mountain burned from behind, and now the masculine floats into the great star-soaked unknown. This is card number 51. 5 is change, 1 is rebirth, and it makes 6. So this card reduces to 6, and 6 is harmony and integration. Winter's Dream is at the bottom of the deck. You're not stuck, baby. You're becoming. This is your remembrance. This is you remembering who the fuck you are. It's sacred womb space, the in-between, where the phoenix rests before learning to fly. The fire tore it all down. The comet cracked the surface. The emperor shed his clothes. The village burned, and now under the stars, in the silence, he remembers. I'm not what they built. I am what is becoming. Welcome to the limitless possibility. You're no longer a shape. You're a soul in flight. You're flying, and I love you, and I want you to have a fantastic day. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.